Welcome to our list of the best unknown survival movies. These hidden gems will take you on thrilling adventures, showcasing the resilience and determination of characters facing extreme challenges. Get ready to discover some truly captivating stories. Number 10. Detour. A chilling thriller you absolutely must see. It will take you into the dark and claustrophobic recesses of the human mind. The main character, Jackson Alder, finds himself in a no-win situation, literally. After a tragic car accident, he is trapped under piles of dirt and debris in his car, where no one can hear or find him. Time is running out, and air supplies are dwindling. Jackson begins to feel increasingly panicked and claustrophobic, struggling not only to survive but also to stay sane. The film effectively uses elements of claustrophobia and isolation to evoke feelings of overwhelm and helplessness in the viewer. It's a story of loneliness, desperation, and the fight for life in a situation where all hope seems to have long since vanished. The horror here comes not from monsters or ghosts, but from a very real and tangible situation in which any of us could potentially find ourselves. Number 9. Backcountry. Backcountry is a story about the worst nightmare that can happen to a person in the wilderness. A young couple, Alex and Jen, go on a seemingly innocent trip deep into the wild Canadian wilderness. It was supposed to be a romantic getaway, away from civilization, in the embrace of nature. However, it soon turns out that this trip becomes a nightmare. Lost in the endless forest, with no map and no way to call for help, they become victims of a merciless predator who begins to follow them. In the wilderness, they have nowhere to hide, and time works against them. Every step may be their last, and the forest, which at first seemed peaceful and beautiful, becomes a deadly trap. The film touches on the deepest human fears of the unknown and of being defenseless in the face of the power of nature. The tension builds with every minute, and the brutal attacks of the predator are depicted so realistically that it is difficult to take your eyes off them. If you fancy a film that will freeze your blood in your veins, create strong anxiety, and make you think twice before a trip to the woods, this is the proposal for you. This is one of those films that lingers long in the memory, forcing you to reflect on the fine line between man and nature. Number 8. A Lonely Place to Die. A Lonely Place to Die takes the viewer to the dark, suspenseful regions of the Scottish mountains. A group of friends embark on a climbing expedition that is supposed to be an exciting adventure. However, their joy quickly turns into a nightmare when they accidentally discover a buried girl in the woods. They decide to rescue her, unaware that by doing so, they draw the wrath of merciless torturers who do not want their secret to come out at any cost. From that moment, a terrifying struggle for survival begins, and the peaceful mountains become the arena of a brutal game in which lives are at stake. Every step, every breath can be their last. The film successfully builds tension and uncertainty, making the viewer follow the fate of the characters with bated breath. With its dark atmosphere, suffocating claustrophobia, and the realization that something far worse than wild animals lurks in these wild backwoods, A Lonely Place to Die is a true thriller that won't let you relax for a moment. Number 7. Onoda. The film Onoda takes us into the dark, forgotten recesses of the human psyche. It tells the story of Japanese soldier Hiroo Onoda, who was sent to a Philippine island during World War II on a mission to wage guerrilla warfare. However, when the war ends, Onoda refuses to believe in Japan's defeat and continues his mission for the next 29 years, living in the jungle like a shadow, hunting, fighting, and killing, convinced that the war continues. This is not a story of heroism, but of obsession, loneliness, and the terrifying determination of a man who decides to reject reality in favor of his own version of the world. The jungle becomes not only a refuge for Onoda, but also a prison, a maze from which there is no escape. Every rustle of leaves, every shadow seems to be an enemy, and loneliness slowly devastates his mind, leaving him on the verge of insanity. The film is extremely intense, not only due to the harsh depiction of the conditions of life in the jungle, but above all by showing the slow decay of the psyche of a man cut off from reality. It's a story that draws you in and doesn't let you forget about it, leaving the viewer with a mixture of fascination and anxiety. Number 6. Sweetheart. For those who enjoy chilling stories of survival and monsters, Sweetheart is a great choice. It's a raw, intense horror film that shows how far a person can go when facing their deepest fears. The film draws the viewer into a nightmare of loneliness and a terrifying struggle for survival. The story is about a young woman, Jen, who is shipwrecked on a seemingly deserted tropical island. Alone in the middle of the ocean, she is forced to face not only the harsh nature, but also the dark threat that hides in the darkness of the island. At first, it seems that Jen has to fight only hunger, thirst, and loneliness. However, she soon discovers that she is not alone out there. Something lurks in the night, an unknown, inhuman creature that emerges from the depths of the ocean. Each night, Jen witnesses more and more terrifying events. The creature will not rest until it gets its prey. Fighting this monster is not only a game for life, but also for preserving one's sanity in the face of an unimaginable nightmare. Number 5. Kon-Tiki. Kon-Tiki is the story of a desperate challenge by a group of 6 men to prove that prehistoric civilizations could have traversed the immeasurable abysses of the Pacific Ocean on a primitive raft. Imagine vast, endless waters where there is no land in sight, only cool, impenetrable depths beneath their feet and boundless, austere skies overhead. They drift on a wooden raft, waiting for the ocean to show its worst face. Each wave that bangs against their fragile shelter seems to herald their end. The ocean knows no mercy, and hungry sharks circle around them, smelling fear and anticipating the moment when people make even the slightest mistake. Survival on this raft is a battle against time and the forces of nature, which know no rules and give no chances. Number 4. Wrecked. This film will pull you into your seat from the very beginning, introducing you to a dark, claustrophobic world of desperation and madness. Imagine waking up in a dilapidated, smashed car in the middle of a dense, impenetrable forest. You don't remember who you are, what happened, or how you got here. Every breath, every movement causes pain, and with each passing minute, you realize that you are completely alone. Or at least, you think you are. You're surrounded by wildlife that has no mercy, and you don't know if what you're seeing is reality or a product of your mind torn apart by trauma and fear. As the protagonist struggles to survive, the film turns into a psychological nightmare. With each step in the dark, the tension grows and the atmosphere becomes more and more suffocating. You're not sure if he'll be able to get out of this hell or if this forest will become his grave. Number 3. The Reef. The Reef is a film that can evoke goosebumps and force the viewer to think about the fragility of human life. The atmosphere of horror and constant danger makes this film not for everyone, but if you like to feel adrenaline and fear in its purest form, it is worth watching. A group of friends goes on an exciting trip to the open water, wanting to feel the thrill of diving among the coral. What was supposed to be an adventure quickly turns into a nightmare when their boat suddenly capsizes in the middle of the ocean. They are stranded in the water, without any hope of rescue. And something far more terrifying than loneliness on the open sea lurks beneath them. Sharks, which have always seemed a distant threat, are now becoming a reality. With each passing minute, the tension grows as the heroes fight not only the merciless waves, but also an invisible predator that senses their fear and blood. The water becomes their enemy, and each plunge may be their last. Number 2. Mine. The film Mine is a chilling thriller that tells the story of the extremely frightening situation faced by soldier Mike Stevens. After a failed mission in the desert, Mike accidentally steps on a mine, one step away from inevitable death. Faced with the scorching sun, endless sand, and ever-lurking danger, Mike must fight not only for physical survival, but also for mental survival. Loneliness, hallucinations, and extreme exhaustion force him to face his own demons, and each day becomes a nightmare in the open. If you're in the mood for a film that grabs you hard and forces you to think about the limits of human endurance, Mine is a hit. This is not a typical horror film full of blood, but a psychological journey through hell, full of tension, anxiety, and fear that slowly gets under your skin. The film perfectly builds an atmosphere of claustrophobia and hopelessness, making the feeling of horror accompany the viewer from beginning to end. Number 1. Infinite Storm. Infinite Storm will take you deep into the heart of a terrifying struggle between man and merciless nature. Based on true events, the film tells the story of a woman who sets out alone on a mountain trail. What begins as a seemingly ordinary expedition quickly turns into a nightmare when she becomes trapped by a powerful storm. Confronted with extreme conditions, chilling cold, and life-threatening danger, she encounters a mysterious man who is equally desperate to survive. Together, they must face not only the brutal forces of nature, but also the inner demons each carries within. The film creates an atmosphere of tension and horror through both the freezing, claustrophobic landscapes and the profound inner struggles of the characters. It is a tale of human determination, exploring how close one can come to the edge and how monstrously lonely one can feel in the face of an unrelenting element. We hope you enjoyed our selection of the best unknown survival movies. These films remind us of the incredible strength and perseverance of the human spirit. Don't forget to share your thoughts and let us know if you have any hidden gems to recommend.